Dante Adventurers, it's Todd Lyons here, and today I thought that we would do a quick flip through of the Basic Fantasy Role-Playing Game 4th edition, and specifically with an eye towards its artwork. So I've only been with the project aware and somewhat involved in the last 3 years, but something that I've heard levied repeatedly against it is just criticism about the quality of the artwork compared to other projects, for profit, really big deals run by professional corporations, all the way down to other similar small independently published things. So I'd like to react with you along for the ride, just to some of the artwork that we have in this project, and what we think about it, what you think about it. And to start, to prep me to hopefully recognize people's artwork as we go, I want to read just through our list of artists here. And you've seen the cover artwork. Actually, the way these are distributed is the cover is separate from the interior stuff, because you would run one on your color one, maybe this to your laser. In any case, this is Eric Wilson here that does this dragon, and the dragon has been around for a very long time. And I think even the cover, it was cover artwork for the first edition, and then I think he also did the dragon that's on the second edition cover that we still see even with 4th edition now. So that's why his name is first here. This is maybe in order of contributions, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce people's names, because I don't know you, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm just doing my best. So Steve Zisler, I'm not sure exactly. Matt Finch, enough said. I didn't know he did art, though, so that's interesting. He is so talented. Dan Dalton, Luigi Castellani, Nick Bogan, Mike Hill, Kevin Cook, Sean Stone, Brian Glad Thomas, I see his work all around, Tomas Arfert, Andy Adam Taylor, Jason Braun, Martin Wolfgang Siesto, Brian DeClerc, Martin Serena, Corey Shona Gelnet, I wouldn't know, Alexander Cook, Bruce Ripple, Gabe Fua, John Simcoe, Lucky Crafts. Yeah, you don't have to provide your actual name. You can use a handle. Jeremy Putnam, Francisco Chavez, William Henry Dvorak, Tony Grant Giddos, Jose Carcado, Jody Clonch, Terrence Crosby, S. Ender Thiel, Colin Richards, John Fredericks, Peter Klimkowicz, Evan Griffiths, Hadrian Riel Salvatore, and Benedict Noir. So I do not proclaim to be an expert on each of their individual styles, so based on what I remember and what I can surmise, because not all of them are signed either, which makes it very interesting, I'll just do my best. So this, if I recall, is this is a Steve Zisler, and he is no longer with us. So one of the wonderful things about this book is that it is a time capsule for people that for whatever reason, are not with us anymore as contributors. And because this book has now existed it's getting close to 20 years now, there are a lot of instances. Steve, as far as I know, was the first to pass away, and that's why he, unfortunately, will never have any more of his work. But other people come and go just because it is a community. It is a open source collaborative project. And people are here to give for the time that they have. And, we all have lives. In the same way that I took 30 years off from roleplay and only came back in the last 3 years, we all have a period of time where we can be here to contribute. And then, nothing's forever. But this book is a record of all the people that were here for the time that they were here. Anyway, I'm only 3 graphics in, but so far, I love the artwork. I love how not only is it a testament of just people that have come and gone to contribute to basic fantasy, but that in very much in exactly the way that this is a is a retro clone of BX, Basic Expert, the box sets from 1981. It has that style of line-drawn art, black and white, that we also saw in first edition Dungeons & Dragons, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. So we'll see lots of characters, and in the lower corner here we also see that there is some weapons to sort of just have something nice and interesting to add, so you're not looking at a blank space. That's lovely. Not only is it functional, it's beautiful. It draws your attention like right to that new beginning of a chapter or a new section on the cost of weapons and equipment. I love it. Siege engines. So we don't have a lot about Siege in this game system. So I suppose half a page is better than nothing at all, and having any sort of basis to build from is better than nothing at all. But a good 1/3 of the content of Siege engines is this picture, which I can only assume was purpose made for this page. Spells. Okay, so that's a Bruce Ripple, that book there. Bruce has a very distinctive style, which I love a lot. And more to the point, this is what I appreciated about old school artwork, is that you recognize individual artists and their styles. So this one's signed Luck, and I should be able to remember which, I'm sorry. But clearly Bruce's style and Steve's style and Luck's style are all different styles. And I appreciated back in the day that those artists had their own styles. Jim Rosloff had a style. Sutherland had a style. Dave Trumpy had a style. That's lovely. So that picture down there in the lower corner there, I've seen that used, I'm sure, in one of the Adventure Anthology series. Maybe it's A3. My memory's not 100%. But as an artist, if you contribute to this system and you do something that's awesome that many writers will look at and think, oh yes, I would like that, then you have your agreement is not exclusive, with an author or with the project, or with, you can use stuff in your own self-published stuff. You can give it to other systems, and chances are it will appear in probably more than one basic fantasy role-playing game project, because we love good art. And if we see that it is a good fit for another module or another book, we will put it there. There's not so much reuse that it ever strikes me as being excessive. Like it happens, but it's not common. But your work will be well loved if you give it to us. That's a good wizard. I love the smoking hand there. Okay, nice little druid hat or a wizard hat under the quest spell. And that's a physical hammer. That looks like a Bruce Ripple, but forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan. I'm a fan like you. Spiritual hammer. So there's a physical hammer next to the spiritual hammer. Okay, here's a good place to stop, and look at two different artworks here. Anyway, on the right, that is such an interesting style, and I would draw your attention in particular to the person that's second from the right, just to the left of the wizard there, and that epic mustache. I get so much joy looking at these pictures, so much. But clearly, it's a very different style than what we see on the left here, and I think that's Peter Klimkowicz. Pretty sure. I think that's a reverse P and a K there as his signature. But clearly he has a very, very different style. And from what I recall, it's different from every other artist in this book and in other basic fantasy books. And that's part of just embracing, old school, is that, even back in the day, there were people with very different styles, like Jim Rosloff style or Sutherland style or Trampier style. They were different from Errol Otis, who clearly he had a very unique style, and it was not realistic. He, well, you'd have to see it. It just type Errol Otis into a search engine and look for some examples of his art. It's all over the place. Like it was the cover of the box sets for Basic and Expert in 1981, and I absolutely love him. I am so happy that he's still alive and that he's still producing artwork for other projects, including like big stuff and small stuff, independently published little things, and But he is who he is, and I think that the world has changed. Thanks for that revelation. But I think that stylistically, the publishing industry has moved towards a more homogeneous, uniform look throughout the books, so that there's a very rigidly designed house style that artists have to be constrained to make art that fits within that very narrow range. And while I guess it does give books a uniform look, I'm not sure that a uniform look is something that I, as a consumer, as a role player, necessarily really want. It was interesting when that trend started to happen, but I think I'm kind of past that. And in the same way that I yearn for the simplicity, the magnificent, stripped down quality of Basic, I like the variety that having different artists adds to the book as far as just creating distinctive styles that add visual interest. So as I'm flipping through, I can think, that's an Al Cook there up at the top there, and then that's Peter Klimkowicz down at the bottom. And, like them or don't like them, which again is another point. Not everyone maybe loved Errol Otis back in the day, but the people that love him still love him now. We all have our favorites. Up at the top there, Al Cook, he's in semi-retirement now, if I understand correctly. It's difficult to get him to do any more work, so we have to be thankful for everything of his that we do have. And I don't think it would be overstating it to say that he is Chris Gonerman's favorite artist. Chris loves him. But he's not my favorite artist. I like him fine. But I have my own list of favorite artists, and a number of them are mentioned in my Chrysokin's Coterie video, where I talk about my book of NPCs. So you can listen to me gush like a fanboy if you go and watch that video. It's an hour long. You don't have to do it all at once. But I've broken it up into chapters, so it should make it easier to figure out, okay, where did I stop the other day? Where do I start now? Bruce Ripple. I love Bruce. I love his work. I love the fact that I can recognize it. Such a distinctive style. And again, that is the old school way. People come and go. People come and go from this project. So whatever you get from an artist for how much time they're able to provide it, or have the interest, or maybe they're on their way to becoming great. Maybe they're like me and they have a day job and this is just their passion. And whatever time they can give us to provide more of this beauty is just something to be grateful for. I certainly am. Another Bruce, and I think that's Steve again. So yeah. Everything that we have of Steve is everything we will ever have. So it's bittersweet to see his work. That's Brian Glad Thomas there at the bottom there with the battle. And I'm not sure that I recognize. It's unsigned. It's a challenge sometimes. We don't ask artists to sign their work, but I do love the crescent and star design of that rapier up there. It's beautiful, beautiful. So what in this book so far, would put people off? Or is it just that, we're willing to embrace a variety of styles in the, according to the old school mindset, which, that the current world wants homogeneity, everything to be the same. Oh, that's lovely. So that's a Dalton, Dan Dalton. I love that. I love it. And then Al Cook on the other page there. Yeah. Why the hate? I don't get it. Those are both Bruce Ripple. Sometimes he signs, sometimes not. He uses that little signature block there that looks like ruins in the corner. But yeah, I'm sure he has his people that appreciate his style and that maybe don't care for it. I am in the yay Bruce camp. Yeah. Okay. There'll be a lot of variety here because as far as trying to come up with enough stuff for monsters, we get people that drop in and that's all they do is just do a couple of monsters and then they disappear again. So anyway, we have an ant. We have the Barklings, which is a Gabe Fua thing. Yeah. Brand new for 4E because we weren't sure what we were going to do about kobolds. So we made the Barklings as our own not intellectually protected property thing that we could maybe carry forward. And now we've been able to hold on to kobolds, but everyone loved the Barklings. So, Gabe, you're awesome. Love it. Okay. Yeah, another variety of styles here. You know, the one that's least realistic, I suppose, is Al Cook's there, like the second of 4. But my eyes are delighted by seeing just variety on this page. And just with some of these, like the bee, the giant bee there, look at the story it's telling. Yeah. John Fredericks there. He's done a lot of covers for us. And I grabbed all of his most beautifully sculpted elves for my Chrysogon's Coterie book. So a couple more Bruce. And I think that's Steve again. And an Al Cook. I think that's Declare in the upper corner there with the centipede. Anyway, Brian. Some of the signatures are a little small for me able to see. But I think that is Martin doing the cockatrice, and then that's Bruce over there with the Deceiver. That's Peter. Assuming that I haven't misguessed him, but he has a very distinctive style. He's very different from everyone else in here. But yeah. I don't get the hate. I don't understand it. Every picture on this page, this set of facing pages, I think is beautiful. All different. There's 2 Al Cooks in the middle there. But yeah. This is so evocative. This is doing for Basic and Expert exactly what I wanted a book to do for Basic and Expert, and that is to bring me back to that time where it was a beautifully stripped down game that was modular, that I could play just as is, as written. And then if I wanted to add other bits, more classes, more races, more rules, it's modular and I could plug in more stuff to it. But it's a beautiful game, and but even in its core version, it's everything that's good and beautiful about Basic and Expert. Okay, a couple of dragons, and a dragon turtle. Yeah, that's a nice looking Ifrit. The elementals are, stylistically are kind of a little bit of everything. From the air, the cold, earth, fire, lightning, and metal. Some of these are signs, some aren't. Actually, I take it back. Maybe it's just the lightning elemental I don't immediately see a signature for, but very small little letters down at the bottom for the other ones. Yep. Okay. So we got the Flyant. The Flyant? Yeah, it's kind of noisy in the background here. And it's really hard to do a video at home, even on your break. So we got flies. That's another Bruce Piranha. Bruce Piranha. Okay. Gargoyles. That ghoul. That ghoul. That's brilliant. I love that. And I know I've seen that's been reused at least one other place. Because, yeah, people like me, other writers, will look at that and think, I love that. I'm going to take that and put that in my book. Okay. Yep. This doesn't happen often. 3 of the artists on the same page all at the same time. Actually, he nailed this one too. Wow. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. 7. Yeah. If you show up at the right time and have enough time to contribute to stuff, yeah, you can sweep with your work. Yeah. Yeah. Different styles, but it's not bad. There's another one there. Wow. And these are 2013, so this is going back quite a ways. But yeah, your work lives on forever. There's John Fredericks. It's another Bruce thing, I think. BR. He slightly changed his. You're trying to trick me, Bruce. But your wood golem reminds me of your wood elemental a little bit. It's got that same vibe to it. So I gotcha. Yeah. So the Hellhound there, that's Al Cook, I'm sure. And I love it. His style is his, like, you can't mistake him for anybody else, and that's exactly the sort of individuality that I remember from being a kid flipping through these books. It's just trying to figure out who drew what, and then going back to that credits page there, and then and just developing an appreciation for every artist and every style. Yeah. So there's, I think, I'm not sure I mentioned Jeremy Putnam before. He's one of the more recent people to join our project and contribute. And I absolutely love his humanoids are interesting, and especially ones with clothes. That man has got some style as far as dressing up his characters. I like this kobold. It's an interesting take on it. And then there's 2 more from Bruce there. Anyway, Jeremy Putnam. He's great. I have to do a better job of recognizing people by signatures because some people don't do a recognizable name. And I'm like struggling, like, oh no, whose symbol is that? Brian always puts his GLAD, G-L-A-D, which makes him a bit easier to spot from a distance. That is a freaky were-rat, and I love that. I love it. And then that's Jeremy again. He did the werewolf there, same page. Yeah. Yep. I'm now sufficiently. I'm becoming nonverbal as my brain is just processing all this lovely art. That owlbear, it looks fluffy, but the claws, and the eyebrows. My brain doesn't know what to make about that. I realize looking at the claws that my character would be terrified confronted with something like that. But okay, and there's Bruce doing a Pegasus. Gabe Fua, those are some nice pixies. Apples for scale, right? Because everything looks, it's like shopping on the internet now, where the 60-inch TV looks the same size as the 32-inch because it's all, the thumbnails are all the same size. So they look annoyed. They're out collecting apples and we're like looking at them and they're like, forget you. I love personality in people's artwork. Yep. Now, I would have to say that rot grub, on the face of it, does not seem like a very exciting monster to have to depict. But as you can see from Bruce's take on it, it's just a question of thinking, what is the best way to illustrate the danger of these creatures? And then just, as he's doing, hitting a home run, knocking it right out of the park. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I think that people are just put off by the thing that I love about this game is how there are unique artists and how they have their own unique style. And what gives me delight and surprise is what annoys people that really are just used to the homogenized, every style is it's within a very narrowly defined scope or range. Yeah. My brain enjoys being tickled with different styles. My brain enjoys looking and trying to figure out, oh, who did that one? And my first inclination with barely even a check at that white over there is that that's Jeremy Putnam. And when I look for his signature, sure enough, it's there. So I think if you have a style that's, you can be influenced by other people, but you don't need to ape them. But I love people who I can recognize their work, and I'm delighted by their work. Joe, up on the top corner there, he's pretty new to the project, but he's kind of disappeared. So again, you have to appreciate these people while they're here for the time that they're here. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that scroll. Isn't that beautiful? There's no unimportant art, even if it's I think that's a Bruce there. It just looks like something he would do in the way he would do it. Even things that are created just as filler, can be beautiful, can add interest to the page, can take an empty void of a spot and put something interesting there. And I've highlighted this one before. I think this is funny because you can look by his hand there, and he's keeping score on the number of people he's killed today. So I love bits of humor. I love things that are unexpected. There's Al. Yeah. Yeah. Different styles, but they're all cool. And then there's the other one. I did a video on funny pictures. Look at the ruins on that one up there. Oh, and there's that's Jeremy again. I think that's the first Jeremy Putnam picture I ever saw was that one with the cauldron and the crow. And I just thought, oh, I want more. I want more from this guy. He is so good. Anyway, that's it. So why the hate? There's no bad art in here. There's just different art. And it is different in the same way that the art from the late 70s to early 80s was different, because you were allowed to have individuality and you were allowed to have your own style, and it didn't have to be photorealistic and it didn't have to be in color. It just had to be something evocative that would just grab people's interest. And as I said, my brain is tickled when I see different styles and I recognize the artist, and it makes me curious about wanting to learn more about them and see more of their work. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope this has been a good journey for you. I've really, really liked this.